The South African Civil Aviation Authority is hosting the National Aviation Conference at the Sandton Convention Center this morning. Top of the agenda are the issues facing the industry, including transformation, growth and skills, economic challenges, as well as the future of the industry post the pandemic. For more on this, I'm joined now by our reporter Ahmed Kajee, who is live for us in Sandton. Ahmed, I believe you are with the Deputy Minister there, Sindisiwe, Chikunga. What are you hearing coming from this gathering?
Yes, Koli, what we have seen so far is the introduction from Ms. Poppy Khoza from the South African Civil Aviation Authority. She gave out the welcoming remarks, speaking about how important it is to have an event of this nature to discuss the safety within the industry and the COVID-19 pandemic as well, and the post-COVID-19 future for the aviation sector. We had seen this particular sector being ravaged by the COVID-19 pandemic, facing turbulent times and simply almost being shut down for a foreseeable, for those key parts in the early stages of the pandemic. So these are some of the key things which have been touched on and will be discussed further on throughout the day, fully. But the keynote address took place just a few moments ago with the Deputy Transport Minister, Sindisiwe Chikunga. She is joining me right now. Deputy Minister, thank you very much for your time today. How important is a conference like this?
It is important. It comes at the very right time when we think that we can clear off for takeoff. Hence the theme cleared off to take off. Clear to take off as a theme, because we believe that it's time where the sector has now to say, how do we recover from the negative impact of the pandemic? And as we do that, as the sector is doing that, how do we ensure that we maintain the safety and security standards and we can't compromise on those? They definitely need to recover in terms of finances, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the skills that they require. But that has to happen within a very safe and secure environment. And to balance those become important, particularly in the sector such as the aviation. Remember, when you are up there in the skies, if anything happens, you are assured death. Because when there is an air crash, it's very rare that you can have any survivor. So you want to see the sector growing. And I just want to emphasize that, as I say that, aviation is the safest mode of transport, safest of all the modes of transport. And we want to maintain that. And I always say, even in South Africa here, when it comes to civil aviation, we have a clean record of 0 air crashes. And we want to maintain that as we grow the aviation industry, as we see more aircrafts coming to South Africa, and as we see some of the airlines returning to operations. And that is why, even as the Department of Transport, we've ensured that we appoint both the license councils, so that the airlines are able to renew their licenses well on time. And as the minister was actually appointing the members, he was very clear to say they've got to work day and night, ensuring that if there is any backlog, that backlog is addressed within a very short space of time, and the people are equal to the task. But this is a conference that is taking place at the right time, when some of the restrictions have been actually reduced, including the lockdown. So we think this is the time to say, what is it that we're going to do first as South Africa? But of course, we're operating in an international world.
Deputy Minister, apologies to interject you. We know the theme of this conference is clear for takeoff. We've seen various challenges coming through from Comair in the form of British Airways and Kulula Airlines being grounded temporarily for 5 days. We also saw a few flights from SAF Air also being a few planes being grounded as well. How important is safety in the post-COVID-19 pandemic world, where we have seen safety issues, and these kind of issues we haven't seen before the COVID-19 pandemic?
It's very important. Many airlines are at their lowest in terms of finances, revenue, and so on. And it's possible that in trying to balance the operations and safety measures, those can actually be compromised. One thing I like even about the ComAir is that when they were grounded, they said, what is it that we need to correct? And they corrected that within a very short space of time, and they were back on our skies. And I think for me that was a positive attitude from their side, to the extent that today we can all be assured that they are operating within the safety framework as articulated by SACA. And we're happy to say that. But we can't keep any airline on our skies when we're not sure, particularly our regulator, when we're not sure that the safety measures are in place. So yes, ComAir is back on our airspace, and they've met all the requirements, and we're happy about that. We will definitely not compromise on issues of safety. Like I was saying, that our record is 0% when it comes to our civil aviation. It can't happen coincidentally. It has to happen because we've put measures in place, and on a continuous basis we test those measures, their effectiveness. And we have regulations and standards that are set by ICAO and should be implemented by all airlines, but also should be regulated by our aviation authority. And we have got just to keep that balance. When we do that, we are very happy. So, but what I hear is the department to say, how then do we go forward? How do we recover as the sector, including the airlines, including our state-owned companies, including our infrastructure, our airports? How do we move forward, including our airspace, which is managed by air traffic navigation services? How do we ensure that with everything that is there, we are able to move forward? And this conference has to respond to that. And one of the other issues that I actually raised in my speech is the issue of general aviation, the small aircrafts. We worried about the numbers, the accidents in that section, in that sector, and we're saying to the stakeholders, it can't be. It has just to stop, because it's not just an aircraft crashing. It's somebody dying in that aircraft, and it's people that have all the experience, all the know-how, people that we need. But of course, the family people. We can't allow a situation where, from time to time, we have people dying in the sector because of not observing the regulations or human errors or human factors.
Deputy Minister, we'll have to leave it over there. Thank you very much for your time today. There you have it, the conference from the Civil Aviation Authority of South Africa will be continuing today, and you will be getting updates for the rest of today heading into the weekend as well. Thanks.